Hey everybody, I am Simone Arabia.
I'm Fever.
And we are Spotless Minds, and this is Beats,
Sneaks,
and Rhymes. That rhymes. Alright, Beats, Sneaks, and Rhymes is a show where we discuss all aspects of hip-hop and sneak hop. I just made a word. Break one out here.
We should have named the show Sneak Hop.
Well, we take all aspects of sneaker culture, hip-hop culture, past, present, and future, because our G is too futuristic for that.
That's right.
And we bring it to y'all.
We about to start rating albums that come out in 2020.
Y'all don't even know.
2022.
We don't even know, but we gonna do it. So our first segment is the beat segment.
Beats.
And in this segment, we pick an album.
Rocket, beats.
And we discuss it. And this week we have chosen the album
Schoolboy Q.
Crash Talk. Alright, Crash Talk has how many songs?
It has 14 tracks on there.
And it is approximately 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's got a couple of...
I think it got like 2 or 3 interludes on there, making it about 12 tracks. I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but around there.
Something
area.
like that, or I think the interludes kind of flow with the songs, because I think... Whatever it is, but it's 40 minutes long, and let's talk about it. How you feeling?
I'm a Schoolboy Q fan. Yes. I like Schoolboy Q.
I do too.
But this album just didn't do it all the way for me. It was, and it's a little lackluster to me. It's a Schoolboy Q album.
Yeah, it's definitely got his vibe.
It's his vibe. You know what I'm saying? I can dig it, but there wasn't anything where I'm like, yo, Schoolboy Q new joint? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, yo, Schoolboy Q got a joint, I can play it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say it flows, and that's my opinion. I wouldn't say that, you know, I dig every song in a row on this joint.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, overall, you know, it's an okay album.
Yeah.
I am up.
How
about you?
Well, so I was listening to Little Brother, right? And it was on one song. I forget the name of the song. Forgive me. I didn't do my Googles. But Fonte was like, yo, you know, people talking about, oh, you know, this album, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. It's not like how, you know, how your other stuff was. And he was like, nigga, that's the point, right? So I brought that up because initially I was like, damn, this don't, it don't feel like blank face. It don't feel like oxymoron. And I was like, well, that's kind of the point, right? Yeah. And so then I had to reevaluate that. I was like, well, I don't think I necessarily needed it to be an extension of Blank Face or an extension of, because to me, Blank Face and Oxymoron are completely separate albums. But I play them both like all the time. I think with Crash Talk, for me, it didn't connect with me. Maybe, you know, I'm sure it connects with a different demographic of Schoolboy's fans. Okay. Yeah. But I do have a couple of songs that I do like, but like you said, for me the whole album doesn't flow. Like I would like for it to, but everything ain't for me.
And it's a couple standout tracks. I like Black Folk. Yes. I like Dangerous. Num Num Juice.
Num Num Juice is a dope song.
Dope song,
yeah,
right?
That's a vibe. That's a vibe for real. Yeah. That's definitely a vibe for real.
True indeed.
I like the title song. I like Crash.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about Crash. Okay. So, well, before we talk about Crash, I like the first song, Gang Gang. Okay. Head pop and so it's like the song sets up the album, and then it just you know, in some places it just kind of falls flat for me. But I do like Gang Gang. I do like Num Num Juice. I like Tails. And then Crash. So Crash. I like Crash because I do absolutely like what he's saying on the song, especially the second verse. He's talking to his daughter, talking about her being proud to be black. You know, girl, be proud that your hair black. Girl, be proud that your hair naps. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I dug that from the jump. So let's talk about. I know what you want to talk about with the song, though. You want to talk about the beat, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the beat.
The first time that I heard the beat, I was like, yo, because I'm listening to it and I was like, this sounds Well, it was kind of instantly with me because, you know, I make beats myself. So, and I hear samples. I can hear music anywhere. It could be playing at a restaurant, in the mall, and
you'd be like,
and I'll tune in and I'll be hearing. I'll be like, yo, that's the real song to such and such. Like, I can always hear a sample. So with that being said, as soon as the song came on, I can hear it instantly was Nas's Light.
Yes.
It's Premier's. So it's a sample already, a Premier sample.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much sampled it and slowed it down.
That was Wonder Boy, or Boy Wonder, whatever.
Boy Wonder, I believe.
There you go, Boy Wonder.
Wonder Boy.
I sound like my grandma just now. That Wonder Boy. What that Wonder Boy do? Yeah. Man,
but yeah.
give me mine on that song. Give me mine.
It was. I mean, it's still. I mean, I like the song "Crash" too, but it was just like, you know, it was like, yo, you like.
I forgot who I told you said that it was a producer that was like, oh no, it was Von P. Von P was like, man, Boy Wonder cheating with that Crash beat. He was like, how you gonna loop a chopped sample already? Yep.
Already. You remember why I was like, yo, that's.
And it's funny because you was like, yo, you know what that is, right? And normally I'd be like, don't quiz me. I hate it. I can't hear. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you was like, yo, the Nas joint. And I think we was talking about it like, we listened to it or something. And I heard it instantly. And I was like, oh, through osmosis, I am learning. So yeah, that was a moment for us when we first heard Crash or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you know,
but
it's alright. It's alright. It's not something that like I would put on Blank Face. I'll put on Oxymoron and just leave it. This is not a no skip album for me.
Blank Face still gets play,
especially John. Was
John
it Muir?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
bailing through the motherfucking streets, y'all. Sorry, Dad. Sorry for cursing.
That's shit.
But shout out to Schoolboy Q, man. You know, look, he's out here making music. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not going to be for everybody. But and
that's been 2 years, right? Yeah. And it's been 2 years, I think, since between the other ones.
Since Blank Face, yeah.
And 3. Before, it was 3 years.
2016, Blank Face came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, it's an okay album.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's just a half and half. I get it like a midway level rate. But you know, it's still just a little bit over because it got some joints, and I do like what he's saying. But Schoolboy Q knows his lane. He knows his vibe.
Yes.
He's definitely got a sound.
Yep. And I'm still a fan.
Still a fan. I'm always gonna check for Schoolboy. So salute to him. Hey yo, we're back. Again. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I don't know whose lyrics those are.
Subscribe. Don't
make sure you subscribe. Hit the come on. Make sure you hit the subscription box and then hit the little bell next to it because that will notify you when we put up new stuff.
We in full effect.
Bars. So listen, we're on to our next segment. This is the sneak segment. This is where we discuss sneakers, kicks, tennis shoes, what you got on your feet. Joints is hot.
Word.
And we talk about them.
Word.
We give you some history probably. And so this week we are
doing the Reebok Pump. Released in 1989.
Okay.
You know?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Back when?
Back going way back. Shouts out to Just Ice.
So that's what? 30 years ago?
That's about 30 years ago. That is exactly 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. The Reebok Pump was made because NBA was looking for contract for sneakers.
Okay.
And Reebok wanted to contend against its his rivals Nike. You know.
Of course.
So they came up with technology with this pump that was supposed to that supports the ankle.
It puffs out and gives you more pressure and stability. So you don't roll your ankle when you're trying to cross them over.
Yeah. So originally, now back 1989,
30 years ago.
30 years ago, these joints was $170. So you know back then,
if you had them,
if you had them. Like
your mom's had dough.
Yeah, yeah. You either
or your pops, whoever.
You either had a wicked jump shot or you were selling crack rock.
Thanks, Biggie.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lyric for every situation in life, and we will extort them on beats, sneaks, and rhymes. But go ahead.
Yeah. They was originally made for Dominique Wilkins. That was who the human highlight reel. Played for the Atlanta Hawks.
I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember that uniform.
Dope slam dunk. He was a dope slam dunker.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. He was one of the ones that kind of was highlighting it at that time.
Okay.
So like on the human highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But yeah, there was the first editions were made for him.
Okay.
They didn't do too well, and that was because of the price. They was $170.
Oh, huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Come down.
I don't know if they actually came down, but they became more famous the following year when D. Brown for the Boston Celtics wore them in the dunk contest. And before he
the historian. Before
he did his dunk, you know, he bent down and he pumped up his sneakers.
I remember that. Didn't know who it was. I was not into basketball at that time. I didn't get really into basketball until like the end of junior high school, showing you how old I am.
Yeah. Go ahead. And not only, you know, he actually won. So not only did he, you know, show off the sneakers during, you know, during the dunk thing, the whole, you know, showcasing thing, he actually did a dunk when he covered his eyes.
Oh, he dabbed on him.
Yeah, he dabbed on him back in '89. Ew. He dabbed on him like this and dunked. And he won. So it was a no-look dunk. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And so everybody was like, oh, if you get the Reebok Pumps, you can dunk.
You can dunk. I mean, we are. And the crazy thing is, and I remember back then, you know, I was a young lad.
Okay.
Going into the sneaker store and seeing them on display and pressing the pump, and you can actually sometimes feel the inside, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And then just releasing it and you can hear it go.
Yes, yeah. I remember that.
And that was like a lot of us children, that was the only thing that we was able to do with the Reebok pump. We didn't get them, wear them. We didn't get couldn't afford them, so.
Wait, did Woody Harrelson have them on in White Man Can't Jump?
I don't know. That could be possible.
For some reason, I have that vision, but I could be wrong. He had on. I know he had on something, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, anyway,
I don't know.
I never had them. Yet again on this show is another sneaker.
I never had them either.
I know. So let's talk about the retro though.
The pump does not work, ladies and gentlemen. I was so disappointed. When I got them. You know, because I wanted to be. I wanted to play like a child. I don't ball or anything, but I wanted to feel that.
You want a retro,
I've been missing
an important sneaker like that and disable the pump and the air, nothing.
Because I think if you were to do that with the technology, you would have to boost the price back up again.
That's BS. It was already $170 30 years ago.
They don't take away.
The technology is better now.
Jordans was $120 back in the day.
They still $3 million.
Yeah, they still $100. They done went up for the same sneaker that came back.
Dude in the sneaker store was like, "Yeah, you was thinking that you could pump." Yeah, they lied. It's just for show.
It's just for show. So you know, at first I thought mine was broke. You know, I was like, it actually feels like the button and everything feels like it could be pressed and all that.
It's functional, but
so I'm like, I got a broken pair. He like, nah.
They don't work. But how do they feel?
These is a pair of my favorite black high top sneakers probably ever. They're so comfortable with no alteration. You know what I'm saying? I gave these a lot of play, major play. I still love them. Mm-hmm. You know, and they stand out. People, you know, when they look down, I think they're surprised. I think, of course, the pump makes them stand out. Yeah. And then when they look down and see, and these is the people that probably don't know, like sneakerhead would know instantly. Right. But you know, the regular Joe civilian, they'll look down at my feet and be like, "Oh, those is Reeboks." Right. And then I have some people like, "Yo, you got the pumps on?" Like, yo, like you know, people that can go back when and see like,
they can go back 30
they still
years
out.
Ago.
They not. I don't think they I mean, you can
still get them.
You can still get them, but I don't know if you're gonna pay what I paid for them. They might be a little bit. They might have shot up in price just a little bit.
I'm sure they did, man.
But yeah,
breaking pockets out here. But shouts out to Reebok for you know, making a dope shoe and making sure that y'all retro it because, you know, even though it didn't do well the first year, y'all recognized the potential and the power and that it became super dope and it's a classic.
Yeah, and it was the initial ones that came out was different. Yeah. They, you know, they was, and these are mid-level. They were real high tops. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Calf high.
Yeah, these are hexalites. These Reebok Pump hexalites, they came out. Yeah.
We have historians here.
It came out next year. Anyhow.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
All right, guys, and we're back. And this is the segment where we call the Dwayne, Roger, and Rerun segment.
What's happening?
Because we're going to tell you what's happening.
Oh, well, we're going to tell you today what's not happening.
What's not happening?
Not happening is the Jizza. The Jizza is on, what is it? I'm sorry. I don't have no facts on anything. This is fact, but I don't have any facts as far as so Liquid Swords came out I think in 1995. So that makes it what, 25 years old?
Yeah.
25 years old. Sorry, didn't do the math. So 25 years old.
Yes, 95. Mm-hmm.
He's touring.
24 years old.
24 years old. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I don't even know if it's an anniversary tour, but he is touring and he is performing the Liquid Swords album.
Yes, he is.
Recently, me and Simone.
We went to see him down in D.C.
Paul, wait, stop right there. So, back in my heyday, when I was a young lad, I seen the Jizza.
Okay.
When Liquid Swords first came out.
Okay.
I was delighted back then, and for all the reasons of I was about to go away for a trip, let's say, up north. Okay. You know what I'm saying? For a spell.
For a spell.
And so I was getting my fun in. You know what I mean? I was going to all the shows I can go to. I can, whatever. Yes. And Jizza had came to town, and I was so delighted to see the Jizza perform, and he did so great. He brought Killer Priest. Killer Priest did Basic Instructions before leaving Earth. I'll never forget that show. That time that, back in 95.
Back in 95.
Fast forward.
And I saw, I didn't see him perform Liquid Swords, but I saw him at Rock the Bells when wu-tang was there. When they all, you know what I'm saying? It was... So let's fast forward to May 3rd.
May 3rd is when it was.
May 3rd, 2019. Yes, that was the day that my grandmother left this earth. Rest in peace to my grandmother. Shouts out to her. But in true Simone fashion, I went out to celebrate her life. And we went to see the Jizza down in D.C. down at the Howard Theater. And it was an event from start to finish, dog. From start to finish. Yes. Right? But we're just gonna talk about the Jizza. Shouts out to the other people that was on the bill.
Yeah.
Shouts out to them. But it was an epic night of epic proportions.
No, wait. Now we're not going to get into them, but just for it to be a Jizza show, the other acts, shout out to them. But it wasn't acts that would lead into a Jizza show. Right. We need to stop having these shows where you have this particular artist coming on, and then the vibe you give them before that artist is totally left. Now,
exactly. So,
So Howard Theater, right?
Howard Theater.
Jizza's at Howard Theater. First of all, we're skeptical, of how long we're going to have to stand and wait to see him.
We are people of a certain age, and when you go to shows, listen, I just seen a meme where somebody was standing holding their knees, and it was like, oh, me, after the age of 35, waiting for the final act to come on, or something like that. It's too many acts at the beginning.
Some of these shows have too many acts.
The Jizza is like 50.
Yeah.
Right?
So we were skeptical.
Almost.
we were skeptical, and it went a little long.
It went a little long.
I like to say it
wasn't as long as some others.
Why is because it actually started on time. It did. Salute to them, because some shows you go to, it says it start at 9 and they don't start until 10.
Yes.
So you think
they did start on time.
They started on time.
So we were grateful for that.
Opening acts were a little lengthy, but not as lengthy as have we been through before.
We've been through some lengthy opening acts.
Shows. Yes.
Doing their whole albums.
So we get to the GZA show. GZA, takes the stage.
He comes out, and he starts off right.
Starts off okay.
Starts off with Liquid Swords. Not the song Liquid Swords, but he starts off with the song from the album. I
do remember his mic not being up.
His mic wasn't up for a couple of songs.
We weren't directly in front of him, but we were close in the front.
Yeah.
So where I can go like this to him, and he kind of like passed it back to sound like, and then he like kind of cuffed the mic. Because he actually seen me, because I was like the music was kind of blurring him out. So I'm like, yo, helping him out. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, turn you up a little bit.
Right.
And so we kind of like cuffed the mic a little bit. And, his sound started coming through. He didn't stay with that.
Right.
So it ended up kind of going down below the music again. He didn't know the words to his songs.
That's number one.
Number two, the DJ he had.
Oh God.
The DJ was cutting the music off before the song was finished.
And the reason why we knew that is because the GZA was getting mad
at the DJ.
Yeah. Like, to the point where it happened like the third time, and the GZA was like, when I hold up two fingers, that means I'm doing two verses. Don't cut the music off.
Yeah, because we all know, like, the GZA, the Liquid Swords album has features from the wu-tang members. Right. So not all the songs have him with 3 or 2 verses. Right. Some of them might only have one verse. But
so that was a killer.
It's a killer.
But we're still like, okay, all right, we're still in it. The GZA, the DJ, he gotta go. We meet up. We meet certain people. You just kind of, gel with other people in the audience. So we're all like, yo, the DJ gonna get fired. Somebody's not going on tour.
We're laughing and we joking about it.
He. Then he veers away from Liquid Swords.
Yes.
And he's doing other songs.
Well, he did songs from the second album. I think it was like Beneath the Surface is the name of that. He did songs from that, and there's people like looking, and it's like, and they got their hands, they're like, yo, this not Liquid Swords though. You know what I'm saying? And he was,
It's not even the fact that it wasn't Liquid Swords. It was also the fact that he was doing obscure songs from other albums that people don't know.
Well, especially the crowd.
The show was billed.
Especially with the crowd.
He's doing Liquid Swords at this show. That's what the show said.
Yeah, exactly. That's what and I've been to shows where it's like, this is the anniversary of this album, and the artist comes out and he does pretty much he might do every last song. Not every last, it depends on how lengthy the album was. Right. But I think I've been to shows where they did pretty much the whole album.
Whole joint. What was not cool was like, then it took mad songs for him to get back to Liquid Swords, and then by the time he got back to Liquid Swords, he wasn't even rapping.
And he wasn't even rapping.
He was rapping this way. We over here. He's rapping that way. He's acting disinterested. Now, I understand he's a man of a certain age. I don't expect you to jump around like you did in 1995.
I didn't.
No.
I just want you to be a bit passionate about the people that paid to come see you.
Listen, I don't know what happened.
I don't know whether he looked in the crowd and seen what the crowd consists of.
Right.
That's here nor there. And it was a nice crowd. I'm not saying that the crowd was thin.
It wasn't sold out, but it was a nice. By the time he got out, it was a nice.
It was a nice crowd. Like I said, I don't know whether the crowd turned it off for him.
Maybe the DJ got him out of the vibe.
Maybe.
Not sure. The point is that he wasn't present.
No.
In himself as an MC, as an artist for the people in the audience. He wasn't.
No. And it was like a few songs where it was like these 2 young females. Yes. That,
they were of a certain demographic.
We observed that they probably were, and that, not to say that they don't know. Right. But
I think one of them, she knew like a couple of songs, and that's what got his attention.
Yes.
Like she knew a couple of words, and that's what got his attention, and then his attention stayed there.
Two young women in the audience where he's looking down at him like after the show.
Young, trying to determine how young.
Yeah.
Young.
I was disappointed. I'm super duper Wu-Tang fan, super GZA fan. Like otherwise I wouldn't have went. You know.
Exactly. We was happy to see that
I was happy to see GZA.
It made me happy. I was excited to go. I needed to lift my spirits. You know what I'm saying? It was a very sad day.
And it was like it wasn't even like
last minute.
It was a last minute thing.
That day, right?
Yeah.
Or no, we got it the day, like 2 days before.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think it was. I know we didn't get them that day. We got
it was
like
Wednesday. We went Friday. No doubt. But very disappointing.
It was very disappointing. We walked out of there like this.
And we weren't the only ones.
No.
Like just like she said, like we talked with a couple of the people
and they were not happy.
And we were conversating and it was like, yo, like what is he doing? I remember seeing people that was in the front and hype at first, and then they kind of like turned around and came back from the front. Like who leaves the front of the show? Because you disappointed where it's like you there and you want to rock and you get in the vibe and it's like he don't have the passion and the vibe, so it's just like
it was not.
All right, I'm gonna go back here a little bit and you know what I'm saying,
get a drink and go
get
to the bathroom and sit down and put my feet up. It just I was not feeling it. We were confused by the end of the show. We were very confused.
I feel like I was duped. Yeah. And I feel like it was a move for him because you have the movie out.
Right.
So I think he took advantage of, you know what I'm saying, doing a little tour or whatever for Liquid Swords.
Which is fine.
Which is fine if you want to perform and do it.
And if you just wanted to do a show because you're the GZA, you have the right to do that. You have the stature to do that. You have been in the game long enough to put on a show. Mm-hmm. But don't tell us that it's a Liquid Sword show and then don't do 50% of the album because he did not.
He didn't.
I mean, Wu-Tang forever, man.
Wu-Tang forever, man.
Wu-Tang forever, but
Wu-Tang forever.
That's what was not happening.
Forever.
We still Wu-Tang, but that's not what was happening.
And that's not what was happening. That's why this card is blank.
and that's why I don't have one. Shit. All right, guys, we are back, and this is our final segment.
The rhyme segment.
This is where we take a verse from someone that we like, whatever. Bars. All the bars. And we break them down and we discuss them. And so, today... we are doing my favorite Prodigy.
I like that jersey.
Yes. Shouts out to Prodigy. I didn't have a bandana, but I did the best that I could. Bandana P in the house. Mob girl for life. Mob girl forever. So, Prodigy is near and dear to my heart, and so I decided that we should, we're coming up on the second year of his passing. Rest in peace to him. And so we're gonna talk about his second verse from Give Up the Goods.
Give Up the Goods or Get Sprayed. Now this album is out.
I think it's 95.
I believe it is 95.
It's 95. It is 95.
95. The Infamous came out in 95.
It came out in 1995. Y'all know the song, right? If you don't know the song, you're gonna learn it today.
You're gonna learn it today.
All right, so I got my mind on the stick up. Now it's time to get paid. Thinking of ways to take loot already made. There's crime in the air, ain't no time to be afraid. Give me yours and get laid. Give up the goods and get sprayed. I got lots of love for my crew, that is. No love for them other crews and rival kids. All them out of town niggas know what time it is. And if they don't, they need to buy a watch. Word up. Let's stop right there. First of all, let's stop right there. Okay? So the song, for those of you who don't know, the song is called Give Up the Goods. And basically it's about the life of
a stick-up kid.
And what happens, and these are things that were going on in the lives of Havoc and Prodigy. These are things that they knew very well about. Mm-hmm. This is the 90s. There's a lot of crime going on, drugs, crack era. It was a lot of mm-hmm. The streets was wild. It was crazy. He was from, Queensbridge. He's from Hempstead, but he, frequented Queensbridge a lot. Mm-hmm. And so, the fact that he says that I got my mind on a stick up, now it's time to get paid. So this is basically the mindset that he's in, that they're in as young African-American males growing up in the inner city in Queens during the crack era. right? So give me yours to get laid, give up the goods, or get sprayed, right? Whether or not you feel like the violence is, however you feel about the violence, this is a very microcosm look into what the hell was happening for these young brothers, right? When this album came out, they was about 21 years old, but they wrote this stuff when they was like 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. That's back when it took about 2 years for your album, for you to complete the whole album.
For you to complete the whole album, and for us as consumers to get,
yes,
you know, because earlier on the album he says, I'm only 19, but my mind is old. But then the album came out in 1995, and he was 21
years old. Yeah,
you know, so you know, I got no love. I got lots of love for my crew. That is, no love for them other crews and rival kids. So basically, he's talking about how people would come from out of town into the area, and like, yo, if you don't know you. As the young people would say today, you are the ops, okay, and you gonna get got.
You gonna get got. Hey, that rhymes.
But it's to me, it's very vivid. Like I can see it, whether I can see Queensbridge or I can see my neighborhood or a neighborhood that I used to hang out in.
Yeah.
I wasn't a stick-up kid, but I understand the language and I understand the picture that he was painting because, he made it so vivid, right? So then he goes on to say, caught up in the crossfire, get they self hurt up, while I be sipping gin straight in a plastic cup on a park bench on 12th Street. My whole crew is famous. You try to bust your gat, keep it real, but you nameless. First of all, slow down. You on the wrong route. Let me put you on your feet and show you what's it all about. The street life ain't nothing to play with. No jokes, no games, kid. For years, I've been doing the same shit, just... drinking liquor, doing bids, extorting crackheads, and sticking up the stick-up kids, stick-up kids, stick-up kids, stick-up kids. Because you know you gotta have the echo.
Yeah. You wanna
stop right there. I mean, I stopped right there because that's the end of the verse. But and then that's how the song goes off.
Well, to paint a picture to say, while I'm sipping gin straight in a plastic cup on a park bench on 12th Street, my whole crew is famous. Right. You know what I'm saying?
He's on a park.
Put you there.
He's on a park bench.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. His whole crew is famous, but he's still sipping gin. Like basically, like, yo, it don't matter like how famous I am. Like I can still get got too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm famous, and my whole crew's famous, but they still out here. You know what I'm saying? Like they famous in name, but money wise, you know, living life wise, like a lot of them was still was getting their money in the street. You know. And so the fact that he's like, you know, he's telling some young kid, whoever
doesn't fit that element,
right? Like, you know slow down.
We're trying,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You tried to bust your gat and keep it real, but you nameless. First of all, slow down. You're on the wrong route.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And for someone to be so heavily in the street and still be in the street, but trying to impart wisdom onto someone who doesn't fit that mold. Yeah. Like you on the wrong route.
Yeah, trying to bust your gun to get a name.
Right.
You know what I mean? You thinking about going about getting a name by just shooting.
And that's the wrong route.
That's the wrong route. That's the wrong route.
First of all, it's the wrong route for so many reasons, right? Because number one, you don't fit this mold. Number two, this is just not what you should be doing. It's really not what we should be doing. You know what I mean? But we're doing it because we fit this mold. You chill out. You know what I mean? But my favorite part is the end. You know, the street life ain't nothing to play with. No jokes, no game, kids. For years, I've been doing the same shit, just drinking liquor, doing bids, extorting crackheads, and sticking up the stick-up kids.
I mean, the picture that it paints is like that last line, you know, R.I.P. to one of my homeboys, Aronde Gibson.
Shouts out to him. Rest in peace.
You know, Aronde, we used to work together at a club, and we both was hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And the vibe that, you know, Aronde would always give off was like he loved all hip hop, but he had a vibe of like sort of like a little brother. You know, a native tongue kind of vibe. Right. And one night, you know what I mean, he just said those last 4 bars to me, and it just made me smile. Just because, like, I know he recognized Prodigy, because he wasn't a guy that was in the street. Right. But just for him to say, he just came up to me like, for years I've been doing the same shit, just drinking liquor, doing bids, extorting crackheads, and sticking up the stick-up kids. Like, the in-depth of a young boy saying that. It just
and for someone
was
like a Rondé to recognize that, and to understand that,
exactly,
and to really,
because we don't always just take lyrics as just face value, just, you know what I'm saying, how it's given to you. Sometimes you just gotta read in between the lines, and sometimes you gotta feel who it's coming from or whatever. And it's in the authenticity.
The authenticity.
There you go.
The realness.
The realness of it all. You know, and this is back. You know, I don't want to take too long, but this is back when, before it was just a thing for everybody to be like, yo, I bust my gat, yo, I'm a thug, yo, I'm dangerous, yo, this, that, you know what I mean? This was sincere, coming from children.
Yes. Children.
Children from the projects.
Children.
Of what was going on.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and they seem, you know, they seem so much older back then, but now that we're older, we're like, yo, 19, 20,
because
21,
we were young
babies.
Yeah,
you know
we were
I mean?
young, so we didn't really think about age. And not only that, a lot of us was living it.
Yep.
You know, at that age, so it would be so it was relatable.
Adjacent to it, somebody you knew was living in it. You know what I'm saying?
You may not have been in it, but it was next door to you or down the street when you walked to the corner store. So, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Just to give you that perception of what's going on out here, you know.
And to paint it as real and as gritty as possible.
Yeah.
It just, you know, and the whole Infamous album obviously was like that, you know. But that the whole song for me is it's probably the one that I know front to back.
Yep.
You know, and it's a classic song. Everybody knows when it first comes on. Hey, yo, Queens, get the money. Long time, no cash. I'm caught up in. Everybody knows when it comes on. It's like, and then and what's dope about that song is that it's a party song.
It is.
You know how many times I heard that song in the club? Back then, not now, but back then, it was a club song. You know, so you know. Man, shouts out, you know, to Prodigy,
R.I.P. to Prodigy,
Albert Johnson, man. You know, rest in peace. You know, no longer here in the physical, but you're definitely still inspiring me personally every single day. You know, shouts out. You know,
Hennessy, my favorite drink.
Not mine, but my favorite one. The number one person in the rap industry, him and Nas, obviously. But yeah, man.
Who made Hennessy famous? That's another show.
That's another show. We'll talk about how hip hop made alcohol famous, dog. We out here. Give us our money.
Word.
Yeah. So
that wraps it up.
That wraps it up for us. I'm Simone Arabia.
I'm Fever.
And we are Spotless Minds. And this is Beat Sneaks and Rhymes. And we will see you next time.
Peace, peace.
I be spitting bars.
Yeah.
I be going far. I'm a star.